Have you ever met an elderly person who seemed full of life, only to hear they passed unexpectedly, even though nothing seemed seriously wrong? What if the real danger wasn't illness or age, but something silent and subtle, quietly draining their vitality over the years? And what if letting go of just one habit could be the very reason some seniors live well beyond 82, staying sharp, mobile, and full of energy? I'm Dr. James, and for more than 3 decades, I've worked closely with older adults, helping them navigate the complex changes that come with aging. Over the years, I've noticed a pattern, one that most people overlook. It's not tied to genetics or expensive treatments. In fact, what I'm about to share with you has nothing to do with medicine, surgery, or even intense exercise. The truth is, many seniors fade too soon, not because of disease or decline, but due to a quiet, consistent habit that slowly robs them of their mental sharpness, physical resilience, and independence. This one factor, often dismissed or ignored, has been the hidden culprit behind the loss of energy, clarity, and motivation I've seen in my patients again and again. But here's the hopeful part. There's a way to reverse this trend. And it doesn't require prescriptions, exhausting gym sessions, or strict diets. It simply takes awareness and the courage to reclaim something that's already inside you. If you watch this video until the end, you'll understand how a small change can dramatically improve how you age. Especially if you're over 60, this could redefine how you spend the next 20 or even 30 years of your life. Before we begin, if this topic resonates with you and you want more practical health advice tailored for older adults, I'd be grateful if you clicked the like button. That small gesture helps us reach more people with messages that truly matter. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss out on future insights that could protect your health and extend your vitality. And if you enjoy this video, please drop a comment with the number 1. If not, comment 0. Your feedback helps me make these lessons better for you and others. Now, let's begin with something I call the silent epidemic robbing seniors of vitality. Over the years, I've sat across from countless individuals in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s. They tell their stories with warmth, often with laughter, and always with the kind of wisdom that only comes from a life well lived. But beneath the surface, behind their gentle smiles and calm voices, I often sense something else. A quiet frustration, a sense that the spark they once had has slowly, almost imperceptibly, dimmed. Their presence seems to shrink. You can sense it. The way someone who once radiated energy and warmth now feels like a shadow of their former self. It's as if their once expansive, joyful existence has quietly collapsed into something colder, smaller, and deeply disconnected. Over the years, I've come to recognize this pattern not as a rare occurrence, but as one of the most subtle, insidious, and underestimated challenges of growing older. It's a slow unraveling, a quiet drift away from the very sensations that once made life feel full and meaningful. I'm talking about a deep physical connection to one's own body, that unique personal pleasure that used to affirm a person's sense of vitality, confidence, and identity. Yet it's a topic that's rarely brought into the light. Seniors don't sit around talking about it. You won't hear it mentioned over coffee or brought up at family gatherings. And still, this loss, this disconnection, is happening all around us. It's what I call a hidden epidemic. And it's robbing older adults of their joy, resilience, and even their will to engage fully with life. Not because of aging itself, not because of some unavoidable biological shutdown, but because of a toxic cultural belief that has been planted in our minds over generations. We've been conditioned to believe a quiet, cruel lie, that physical intimacy, pleasure, and the right to experience sensual joy are reserved for the young. The message isn't shouted, but it's always there, implied in commercials, in media, in the way society often treats aging bodies as invisible. And once you cross a certain age, you're expected to quietly close the door on that entire part of your humanity. No more affection, no more tenderness, just silence. What happens next is heartbreaking. Many seniors begin to absorb this message and believe it's true. They convince themselves that enjoying physical connection is somehow inappropriate, shameful, or just no longer feasible. Some stop trying altogether because of physical limitations, joint stiffness, slower response, or chronic conditions that make it harder. Others withdraw emotionally. They've lost a partner, feel the ache of loneliness, or still carry emotional scars from past experiences that were never healed. And then there are those who simply drift away from physical joy, not because they chose to, but because no one ever told them it was still theirs to embrace. Here's what we often overlook. This kind of disconnection isn't just emotional, it affects the entire body. The truth is, our bodies are designed for stimulation. Physical pleasure, intimacy, and touch are powerful forms of nourishment. They keep the body awake, alive, and well-functioning. When that stimulation begins to fade, the body responds in quiet but harmful ways. Circulation slows. Blood flow to key organs, including the brain and heart, declines. Tissues begin to receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients. And over time, this lack of stimulation doesn't just dull the senses. It accelerates physical decline, often without anyone realizing what's been lost or why it started. When oxygen and vital nutrients no longer flow as freely, when blood circulation weakens, something subtle yet powerful begins to happen. The neural pathways responsible for pleasure, emotional connection, and sensory fulfillment slowly begin to fade, like trails in a once bustling forest, now overgrown and forgotten. These are the same pathways that once lit up with joy, intimacy, and vitality, and without regular use, they begin to wither in silence. At the same time, the delicate balance of hormones starts to shift. Testosterone and estrogen, critical not just for intimacy but also for muscle tone, bone strength, energy levels, and mood regulation, decline sharply. The result? A steady erosion of the body's resilience. And this decline doesn't stay confined to the realm of intimacy. It spreads, impacting mental clarity, emotional stability, and even basic physical capabilities. You might notice sleep becoming more elusive. Nights once filled with restful slumber now feel fragmented and shallow. Without restorative sleep, mornings begin in a fog, leaving many seniors feeling perpetually tired and emotionally depleted. It's easy to blame these changes on age alone, but what if they're symptoms of something deeper? Gradually, mood disorders, particularly depression and anxiety, begin to surface. But here's the danger. These feelings are often dismissed as just part of getting older, when in reality, they may stem from unmet needs for connection, pleasure, and touch. As energy levels dwindle, even everyday activities like getting dressed, walking to the mailbox, or preparing a simple meal start to feel like mountains instead of molehills. Perhaps most troubling is the silent blow to the immune system. As the body becomes more fatigued and disconnected, its natural defenses weaken. Vulnerability to serious chronic conditions like cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and even dementia increases. It's not just theory. Multiple studies have found direct links between social isolation, lack of touch, and elevated mortality rates. And when physical pleasure is absent, this risk grows even further. I've seen it with my own eyes. Patients who once glowed with life, shared vibrant stories, and radiated warmth eventually become withdrawn. Not because of sudden illness or frailty, but because they had lost their connection to what once gave their lives flavor and fire. Their decline wasn't caused by the body giving up on them. It was the gradual extinguishing of the spark that keeps the human spirit alive. Here's what I want to emphasize clearly. Physical pleasure is not a luxury. It's not a guilty indulgence, and it's certainly not reserved for the young. Whether it's through connection with a loving partner or simply through mindful self-exploration, this pleasure is a vital part of whole person health. Abandoning it out of fear, shame, or outdated beliefs is like turning off the power to a home. It darkens everything. But here's the good news. This loss isn't permanent. It's not final. That spark is still there, waiting quietly to be reignited. Reconnecting with your body, awakening those once dormant sensations, it can start a healing process more profound than you might expect. It doesn't just restore joy, it revives memory. It lifts emotional resilience. It strengthens the body from the inside out. Scientific research supports it. And I've seen it in real-life stories of my patients time and time again. Those who reclaim physical pleasure often defy the expectations of aging. They feel sharper, more energetic, and more emotionally balanced. But it raises a powerful question. What is it about physical pleasure that makes it such a potent guardian of the brain, the heart, and the human spirit? Why does this one area, so often ignored, hold the secret not just to aging well, but to truly thriving? But thriving in your later years, truly living, not just existing, requires a deeper understanding of the body's unspoken needs. And what if the very things we've been taught to ignore are the keys to unlocking long-lasting vitality? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might challenge everything you thought you knew about growing older. If anything I've shared resonates with you, if you've ever felt the quiet weight of this hidden epidemic, and at the same time, the glimmer of hope that healing is still possible, I want to invite you to take a small step. Type the number 1 in the comments below. Let me know you're still here, walking this path with me. Now, let's move ahead and uncover a truth that has been too long buried beneath stigma and silence. 2. Why masturbation after 60 can be a powerful cornerstone of longevity. Over the decades, I've had the privilege of sitting with thousands of patients, men and women who dared to defy societal expectations. People who, despite shame or confusion, chose to stay connected to their bodies well into their 60s, 70s, and beyond. From their courage, I've witnessed something profound, a quiet revolution in how we age. And one truth continues to shine with unwavering clarity. Maintaining physical pleasure, including solo sexual expression, is not a luxury. It is not childish, shameful, or irrelevant. In fact, it's one of the most scientifically sound and effective foundations for longevity, emotional vitality, and meaningful living. That might sound surprising, especially if you've grown up in a culture where such topics are cloaked in discomfort, or worse, completely ignored. For many seniors, the thought of masturbation after 60 feels taboo, something brushed aside in embarrassment, rarely spoken of, and often dismissed as unnecessary. But let me tell you this, biology doesn't care about cultural taboos. The body tells a very different story, one grounded in decades of research and supported by real-world outcomes. After 60, the aging process naturally brings a series of physiological changes. Circulation begins to slow, hormone levels decrease, muscle tone softens, and neurological responses may become duller. These shifts can make you feel as though your best days are behind you, but they don't have to mean decline. They are challenges, yes, but they're not the end of the road. Regular masturbation, far from being a trivial or embarrassing act, has been shown to counteract many of these age-related changes. It's more than just a moment of pleasure. It becomes an act of preservation, even restoration. When an older adult engages in solo sexual activity, the body responds powerfully. Blood begins to flow more freely, to the brain, to the heart, and to the extremities. Oxygen and vital nutrients are delivered more efficiently to tissues that may have started to break down. And the results? They're nothing short of remarkable. Circulation improves. Energy returns. and a renewed sense of bodily ownership begins to awaken. It even supports tissue repair and helps maintain the elasticity of blood vessels, which plays a key role in lowering the risk of hypertension and stroke. At the same time, the body releases endorphins, those natural feel-good chemicals, which flood the bloodstream, easing stress and significantly lowering cortisol levels. This soothing effect doesn't just calm the mind, it also sets the stage for deeper, more restorative sleep, something many seniors struggle with. For men, this regular practice can lead to a modest increase in testosterone levels, which helps preserve muscle mass, strengthen bones, and stabilize emotions, all critical pillars of independence, strength, and longevity. For women, it helps maintain vaginal health by encouraging natural lubrication and elasticity, which can reduce discomfort brought on by menopause and enhance intimacy, whether shared with a partner or experienced alone. Yet, the benefits stretch far beyond the purely physical. Modern neuroscience has shown that sexual pleasure, even experienced in solitude, activates multiple regions of the brain at once. Areas responsible for decision-making, memory, and emotional processing light up together, from the prefrontal cortex to the limbic system. This engagement keeps those neural pathways alive and flexible, promoting better memory, clearer thinking, sharper problem-solving skills, and steadier emotions. In simple terms, it helps keep the brain young, vibrant, adaptive, and resistant to decline. I've observed firsthand that patients who embrace this natural, life-affirming habit tend to exhibit brighter thinking, greater emotional resilience, and a spark of creativity that often surprises even them. They approach each day with more energy, more joy, and a refreshed sense of curiosity. By contrast, those who withdraw completely from physical pleasure often begin to show quiet but unmistakable signs of decline, mentally, emotionally, and even socially. Their outlook dims. Their sense of purpose begins to fade. But here's the part many people overlook. There's a deeply emotional, even spiritual layer to this entire conversation. Engaging in masturbation after 60 is far more than just a physical act. It's a statement of self-respect, an intimate declaration that says, "My body still matters. I'm still here. I still deserve to feel joy." This mindset shift can be profoundly healing. I've seen it time and again. When older adults reconnect with their own bodies in this way, it sets off a chain reaction. They become more motivated to nourish themselves with healthier foods, to reach out and socialize more often, or to reintroduce gentle movement into their daily routines, whether it's a walk in the park, light yoga, or simply dancing around the kitchen. They begin to smile again, more deeply, more often. Laughter returns, and with it, a renewed sense of vitality that touches every part of life. This renewed connection doesn't just stay within, it radiates outward, touching relationships, family dynamics, and even the broader community. I've had countless patients, some in their 60s, others in their 80s, look at me with hesitation in their eyes and ask, "Doctor, is it too late for me?" I always meet that question with calm, steady conviction. It is never too late. Yes, the body may need a little more patience, perhaps a gentler approach or extra support through tools like lubricants or vibrators. But the body remains a remarkable vessel, still capable of deep sensation, ready to nourish the spirit, heal emotional wounds, and enhance physical health in ways that continue to surprise even the medical field. Whether it's through mindful self-exploration, the rediscovery of touch, or simply learning to be present in your own body again, the journey back to physical pleasure is not a distant dream. It's entirely within reach. And it's not about vanity or indulgence. It's about honoring the very life force that makes us human. So why does masturbation after 60 matter so much? Because it acts as a lifeline, a sacred thread that connects vitality with identity, the body with the soul. In a world that often tells older adults to step back, to quiet down, to fade gently into the background, this practice says otherwise. It says, you're still here. You still matter. You still have the right to experience pleasure, connection, and the richness of being alive. If this truth resonates with you, if it stirs something inside, I warmly invite you to stay with me on this journey. Together, we'll continue to explore not just the science, but the stories and powerful strategies that help us age with intention, grace, and joy. And if you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're walking this path alongside me. Your time is deeply appreciated. Now, let's turn the page and begin unveiling a crucial truth, one that may surprise you. Over the years, I've uncovered 3 widespread misconceptions that quietly, almost invisibly, drain the vitality of seniors. These aren't just minor misunderstandings. They're deeply rooted beliefs that can slowly erode joy, energy, and health, robbing older adults of some of the most vibrant and fulfilling years of their lives. Too often, the very things that once brought health, joy, and human connection are quietly abandoned. Without even realizing it, many seniors find themselves waking up one day feeling like a faded echo of who they once were, detached from the vitality and energy that used to define them. It's a slow drift, not always noticeable at first, but unmistakable once you feel it. That's why I've made it my mission to bring these hidden misconceptions to light, to gently unravel the stories we've been told, and help pave a compassionate, clear path forward. A path that leads to wholeness, not withdrawal. Together, let's explore the 3 common myths that quietly erode senior vitality, uncover their hidden consequences, and most importantly, replace them with empowering truths that can truly set you free. Let's begin with the first. Misconception 1. Physical pleasure becomes irrelevant with age. This is, without question, one of the most harmful and heartbreaking beliefs I encounter in my work. I've lost count of how many times a patient, often with a wistful smile and lowered voice, has said something like, "I'm too old for that now." Every time, it hits me in the heart, not because of the words themselves, but because of what they represent, a deep misunderstanding of the human body and spirit. Aging does not erase your need for intimacy, connection, or pleasure. It doesn't extinguish your capacity to feel, to touch, or to enjoy closeness. It simply changes how those needs might express themselves. The truth is, physical connection remains essential to emotional and physical health, no matter your age. Think of it this way. It's like living in a stunning home, but choosing to never turn on the lights. Sure, you might get by navigating the dimness, but you'd miss the warmth, the beauty, and the colors that make life feel fully alive. When you deny yourself this essential dimension, you don't just sacrifice emotional fulfillment, you compromise your physical health too. Touch, closeness, and intimacy stimulate powerful hormones like oxytocin and dopamine, natural chemicals that reduce stress, uplift your mood, and even support your heart. These aren't just abstract benefits. They're measurable, tangible, and profoundly healing. When you embrace this truth, you're not clinging to youth. You're rediscovering a wellspring of vitality that's been there all along. Misconception 2. Seeking pleasure alone is shameful. This myth runs deep, doesn't it? So many older adults were raised in times when conversations about self-pleasure were cloaked in silence, spoken of only in hushed tones, if at all. The topic was often treated as shameful or inappropriate, particularly within religious or conservative communities. Over time, those messages don't just fade. They take root. They settle in the mind, in the body, and in the heart, creating invisible barriers of guilt and hesitation. I've sat with vibrant, thoughtful individuals who still carry that quiet shame, so much so that they avoid even the most basic forms of self-care that involve touch or pleasure. But why? Isn't caring for oneself, nurturing the body and spirit, one of the most human and honorable acts of all? Some seniors tell me they avoid pleasure because they feel it's improper or even selfish. But let me speak directly to your heart. Caring for your body, especially through the lens of pleasure, is not something to be ashamed of. On the contrary, It is one of the most sacred acts of self-respect and self-love you can practice. After all, isn't your body the vessel that has carried you faithfully through decades of life's challenges and triumphs? When you choose to reconnect with your body, not just functionally but emotionally, you are honoring its endurance, its beauty, and its worth. You're saying, I still matter. I'm still alive in every sense of the word. And this isn't just a sentimental notion. The science supports it. Mindful self-exploration has been shown to lower stress hormones, improve sleep quality, and even boost immune resilience. When we let go of old, misplaced guilt and embrace our natural human design, we open ourselves to a fuller, more integrated experience of being. Misconception 3. Conserving sexual energy preserves strength. This is a surprisingly widespread belief, especially among those who were raised with strict cultural or spiritual teachings. The idea is that abstaining from sexual expression, whether alone or with a partner, will somehow preserve your energy, helping you feel stronger or more balanced. But in my decades of practice, the truth I've witnessed time and again is just the opposite. Sexual activity, including self-pleasure, functions much like exercise. It engages the body, stimulates circulation, supports healthy hormone levels, and keeps tissues elastic and responsive. It doesn't deplete your energy, it restores it. Avoiding this part of life in an attempt to save energy is like letting your muscles atrophy by refusing to move them. Over time, they weaken, grow stiff, and lose their vitality. Research has shown that older adults who remain sexually active, even modestly, often experience sharper cognitive function, fewer symptoms of depression, and better immune strength. When you give yourself permission to experience this form of pleasure, you're not being indulgent. You're protecting your mind, your body, and your emotional health. The bigger picture. Sexual health is overall health. There's one final misconception that may be the most damaging of all: the belief that sexual health is somehow separate from general well-being. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, sexual vitality is deeply interwoven with nearly every aspect of your physical and emotional life. Think about it. Your mood, your cardiovascular function, your self-esteem, your sleep, even your motivation to stay active are all influenced by your sexual health. When that part of you is nurtured and acknowledged, you don't just feel better, you function better. Modern research is only beginning to fully uncover how powerful this connection is, but what we already know is more than enough to act on. Taking care of your sexual health isn't a side note. It's central to living fully, aging gracefully, and thriving with purpose well into your 80s and beyond. When you care for your sexual health, you're doing much more than nurturing a single aspect of your body. You're nourishing your entire being. Yet, when this part of ourselves is neglected, the ripple effect can be surprisingly vast. It can sap your energy, dull your motivation, and slowly chip away at your emotional resilience. Recognizing these deeply rooted misconceptions is the first step in reversing that pattern. But let's be honest, awareness alone is not enough. True transformation, the kind that revives your energy and renews your joy, requires more than knowledge. It demands a roadmap that's both practical and compassionate, one that meets you where you are, honors the changes your body has gone through, and helps you reignite a connection that may have quietly faded over time. If you've made it this far in the video and still find value in these insights, I want to thank you personally. Your time matters, and if you're still here with me, I invite you to type the number 2 in the comments. Let's continue this journey together, step by step. Step 4. The restoration method, a practical, gentle path to sexual vitality. When I first began helping older adults reconnect with their bodies and reclaim a sense of sexual vitality, I quickly realized that inspiration alone wasn't enough. Words can encourage, but without a path, they can't lead to meaningful change. That's why I developed the restoration method, a thoughtfully designed, step-by-step approach tailored to the specific needs of the aging body. This method isn't about trying to relive your 20s or chase unattainable ideals. It's about embracing who you are today, with the wisdom, grace, and quiet strength that only time can give. It's about reclaiming a part of your life that still holds power, still holds joy, and still holds meaning. Step 1. Preparation. Creating a space that honors you. Everything begins with environment. Before you begin the journey inward, set the stage outward. Choose a private, quiet space where you feel safe and completely at ease. Eliminate distractions. Turn off your phone. Close the door. Let the world wait. Adjust the lighting to suit your mood. Perhaps dim the lights or light a candle to create a calming glow. Settle into a space that supports your body. A soft bed, a cushioned chair, or any place where your body can fully relax. Keep a high-quality water-based lubricant nearby, especially if your skin is sensitive or has changed with age. These small gestures may seem simple, but they send a powerful message to your mind and body. I matter. My comfort matters. My well-being deserves time and attention. Preparation isn't just about setting a physical scene. It's a deep act of self-honoring, a declaration that you are worthy of gentleness, care, and rediscovery. Step 2. Relaxation. Reconnecting through presence. So many of us rush through our days, burdened by to-do lists, noise, and endless distraction. But in this moment, all of that can wait. Start by simply breathing. Deep, slow, mindful breaths. In through the nose for a count of 4, hold for 4, and gently exhale through the mouth for 6. With each breath, allow yourself to settle deeper. Let your shoulders drop, your jaw loosen, your hands rest softly. Imagine tension melting away like sand slipping through your fingers. This isn't a performance. It's not something to achieve. It's a return to presence, to stillness, to you. Relaxation is not a luxury. It's the gateway. When you slow down enough to listen to your body without judgment, you begin to open the door to sensation and reconnection. Even if your body feels unfamiliar after years of disconnection, this gentle slowing down allows you to begin again, with patience, with care, and with grace. For those who've spent years feeling distant from their own body, due to neglect, discomfort, or cultural conditioning, reconnection may feel unfamiliar at first. But this is where true healing begins. Step 3. Awakening. Rediscovering your body with curiosity. Now, with gentleness and presence, begin exploring parts of your body that may have been overlooked or forgotten. These might include your inner thighs, lower abdomen, chest, or even the base of your neck. Allow your hands to move slowly, without a specific goal, just a light, caring touch. Approach each area with curiosity, not expectation, as if meeting an old friend for the first time in many years. Notice the subtle reactions of your body. Does your skin warm slightly? Do you feel a light tingle or even a flicker of memory from earlier in life? These sensations, however faint, are not insignificant. They're powerful signs that your body, even now, holds the capacity for joy, for recognition, for connection. This stage is not about arousal. It's about trust. It's about reintroducing yourself to your physical self and honoring every signal, no matter how small. In doing so, you begin to rebuild the bridge between sensation and self-worth. Step 4. Focus. Building sensation with intention and care. As your body begins to reawaken, you can gently shift toward more intentional stimulation. Let arousal emerge slowly and naturally, like a tide rising with the moon. There's absolutely no rush, no expectations, no destination to reach. Use slow, deliberate movements, and consider incorporating a quality lubricant to enhance comfort and sensitivity. Notice what feels pleasant. Adjust your pace or pressure as needed. The goal here isn't to replicate past experiences, but to discover what brings you pleasure now in this season of life. Think of this moment as a dialogue with your body. Listen closely. Even the softest spark of pleasure is a triumph, a beautiful, living sign that your body is responding, that it remembers what it means to feel. Step 5. Integration. Honoring the experience and yourself. After your exploration, take time to simply breathe and reflect. This isn't just a routine, it's a ritual of self-care and self-recognition. Sit with whatever you're feeling. Whether it's a quiet calm, a sense of warmth, or a tender reconnection to your own body, allow it to settle in. Offer yourself gratitude. Thank your body for showing up, for feeling, for reminding you that you are still here, still capable of connection, sensation, and emotional presence. This step of integration is more than just closure. It's where healing plants its roots. It reinforces the delicate but powerful link between your mind, body, and spirit. Remember, the restoration method is not about reclaiming lost youth. It's not about intensity or performance. It's about embracing the richness of who you are, right now. Every step you take builds upon the last, forming a nurturing cycle of attention and care. And as this practice becomes part of your life, you may begin to notice something remarkable. Not just physical responses, but a shift in your entire sense of vitality. Not only do physical changes begin to take root, such as improved circulation or relaxed muscles, but emotional shifts can also blossom. You may notice yourself standing a little taller, feeling more self-assured, or even carrying a lighter emotional weight throughout your day. There's a deeper sense of self that begins to emerge, one grounded in acceptance and appreciation. However, even with a clear path like the restoration method, obstacles are inevitable. They may arise quietly, subtly pulling you away from the progress you've made. That's why it's essential we now explore how to face these hurdles with confidence, understanding, and grace, ensuring you continue moving forward on your journey toward lasting vitality. If you're still with me and finding these insights helpful, please type the number 3 in the comments below. Your presence here tells me you're ready to transform your later years with purpose and clarity. Thank you for sharing your valuable time with me. 5. Overcoming challenges. Navigating the path to lasting vitality. Real, sustainable transformation is rarely a straight, easy road. And reclaiming your sexual vitality is no different. In fact, one of the most profound truths I've learned in my decades of guiding seniors is this: challenges are not signs of failure. They're evidence that you are engaging in something meaningful. They signal that your body, mind, and spirit are being invited into growth. Understanding what kinds of difficulties may arise and preparing yourself to meet them with compassion will turn obstacles into stepping stones. Let's take a look at 4 of the most common challenges my patients have encountered and how you can face them with resilience and self-compassion. Challenge 1. Unrealistic expectations. Many older adults begin this journey with high hopes of instantly reigniting the passion and physical intensity they once experienced in their younger years. And when those sensations don't immediately return, disappointment can set in, often causing people to question whether they're doing something wrong, or whether this path is even worth it. But here's the truth. Your body has evolved, and that evolution is not a failure. It's a story of resilience, survival, and growth. The goal isn't to mimic the past, it's to embrace the present. Success now looks different. A soft wave of relaxation, a tender moment of connection, or a gentle, warming sensation. These are all signs that your body is listening, responding, and alive. So rather than chasing perfection or peak performance, focus on progress. Celebrate the subtle shifts. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory worth honoring. Challenge 2. Inconsistency. Rebuilding a connection with your sensual self is very much like tending to a garden. It doesn't bloom overnight. It needs regular nurturing, patience, and time. Yet many fall into the trap of waiting until the mood feels just right, or until the stars seem perfectly aligned. Unfortunately, this sporadic approach is like watering a flower once and expecting it to thrive. To truly see meaningful change, I encourage you to treat the restoration method as a gentle, recurring ritual. 2 to 3 times a week, even if only for 10 or 15 minutes, can make a powerful difference. Think of it not as a task, but as a gift you offer to your body and soul. Over time, this consistency builds familiarity, trust, and deep-rooted vitality. Treat each of these moments not as obligations, but as true acts of self-compassion. When you approach them with kindness rather than pressure, your body begins to respond with greater ease. Over time, this consistency becomes a nurturing rhythm, like watering a garden regularly to see it flourish. Pleasure becomes more accessible, more natural, and your body begins to remember how to soften into sensation. If it helps, set aside specific times in your week. Treat these sessions with the same care and respect you'd give to a sacred ritual. You're not just performing a routine, you're honoring the relationship between your body and your well-being. Challenge 3. Performance pressure. One of the most common obstacles is focusing too heavily on the outcome. When people zero in on achieving a certain level of arousal or a specific physical result, they often invite stress into the experience. Ironically, this very pressure tightens the muscles and restricts the blood flow you're hoping to enhance. The pursuit of perfection becomes a barrier rather than a bridge. Often this tension is rooted in comparison, measuring today's experience against vivid memories from decades past. But here's the truth. Your body is not failing you. It's evolving. Instead of judging the journey, what if you allowed yourself to simply feel? Let every sensation, no matter how small, be enough. If you start to feel frustrated or tense, pause. Take a few deep, grounding breaths. Remind yourself that this is not about crossing a finish line. The real goal is presence, not performance. And when you truly embrace that shift in mindset, the experience transforms into something more joyful, more fulfilling, and infinitely more healing. Challenge 4. Lingering shame. For many older adults, unresolved shame still lingers in the background. It might appear as a faint whisper suggesting that self-pleasure is inappropriate, unnecessary, or even selfish. These voices often echo from long-held cultural or familial beliefs, absorbed during a time when open conversation about the body was taboo. If that inner critic begins to speak, meet it with compassion. Gently remind yourself that caring for your own body is not only natural, but profoundly healthy. Exploring pleasure is a way of honoring the vessel that has carried you through years of life, hardship, triumph, and transformation. Consider writing about these feelings in a journal, or speak openly with someone you trust, a therapist, a supportive friend, or even a community group focused on wellness in later life. Over time, these honest reflections can soften the grip of shame and replace it with understanding, permission, and peace. The path forward. A transformative shift awaits. Yes, challenges may arise, but so do breakthroughs. With each moment of kindness you offer yourself, every small step you take forward, you're not just enhancing your sensuality. You're building emotional strength, deepening resilience, and reconnecting with the very essence of who you are. And as you continue this journey with the restoration method, you may find yourself standing at a new threshold, ready to embrace something even more powerful. A complete, holistic shift designed to reignite your energy, restore your health, and renew your passion for life in this extraordinary season. Are you ready for that next step? Because what comes next might just be the most profound transformation you've ever known. A truly comprehensive approach to thriving in your later years must nourish not only the body, but also the mind and spirit. And trust me, what lies ahead may very well be the most rewarding chapter of your life. So stay with me, because the most powerful part of this journey is just beginning. As we come to the close of our time together today, I want to leave you with a message that reaches beyond biology and into the heart of what it means to live fully. Your vitality, your health, your deep capacity to feel alive. They don't vanish with age. They simply evolve, waiting for you to rediscover them with intention and grace. You've now seen the quiet crisis that dims the light of so many older adults, the disconnection from the body that quietly robs joy, memory, and strength. But more importantly, you've heard the solution. By honoring your body's natural capacity for physical pleasure, you tap into a wellspring of cognitive clarity, emotional stability, and renewed zest for living. We've walked through the science, the proven benefits that come from staying physically and emotionally connected to yourself. We've unpacked the myths, the shame, the cultural scripts that have long held so many back. And we've explored a practical, compassionate roadmap, the restoration method, to help you take small, meaningful steps toward a fuller, more vibrant life. Now, I want to turn it over to you. What stood out to you the most? Was there one truth that truly resonated? One insight that stirred something inside you? What's one gentle action you're now inspired to bring into your life to help you thrive, not just survive, as you age? I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. This community becomes stronger, more supportive, and more uplifting when we speak openly and learn from each other's experiences. If this video touched you, if it gave you clarity, courage, or even a new sense of hope, please leave a comment and let us know. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more in-depth health insights that can truly transform the way you age. Let's continue this journey together, writing the next chapters of your life with strength, dignity, and a renewed sense of joy. Wishing you lasting health, true happiness, and deep peace. And remember to subscribe to Healthy Aging Blueprint for more life-changing guidance.